All right, there's trouble brewing in the Canadian jobs market, and yesterday was a day for blockbuster news, starting off with Starbucks, which is cutting 900 jobs and closing dozens of stores in North America, and I think it's more than dozens. I think they actually went from, I read in one article, it was like 18,735 stores to now 18,300, so sounds like they're closing a couple hundred stores. Starbucks will lay off around 900 staff and pull down the shutters on some 100 cafes across North America as a part of a $1 billion restructuring plan to revive the world's largest coffee chain. The business, which eliminated 1,100 corporate positions earlier this year, will also close many open and vacant positions as it notifies affected employees affected by cuts on Friday. The 900 Starbucks staff hit by the restructuring work in non-retail roles, the company said. It will also close 1% of the coffee houses it operates in North America. Now, Starbucks stock, okay? If you have owned Starbucks over the last 5 years, you would be down 1% on your investment. Down 1.13%. It's tanking as I'm recording this. No growth for the last 5 years. You would have collected a dividend yield of roughly 2% over that time, 2 to 3%. But still, 5 years, no growth. And the reason being is Starbucks has been doing this almost every year. I think they've been closing stores. I remember in the pandemic, they closed about 400 some odd stores. And I remember this very clearly because there used to be a Starbucks on Sumas Way in Abbotsford. And I used to be able to hit that Starbucks on the way to the highway. Sometimes I just want a very strong $6 coffee that kind of tastes like shit. Right? Like Starbucks is like the whiskey of coffee, right? It doesn't taste good, but that's not why you're drinking it. You're drinking it because it has that, like it kind of kicks your ass a little bit when you're drinking it, right? So I would have to drive out of the way, and there's a Starbucks on McCallum, in McCallum Junction, that you can go to. But I just did a post about this yesterday on my Instagram, and now people on Instagram are telling me that Starbucks is closed. So I don't even know where I'd go to get a Starbucks coffee anymore in Abbotsford, which kind of sucks, but I don't know. I guess I don't really need $6 coffee and a $12 imitation egg sandwich anyways. But yeah, if you own Starbucks for the last 5 years, you pretty much got wrecked. Now, on top of this, via Shazzy Goalie on X, which by the way is a horrible app. The second you log into X, you just feel horrible. It's just nothing but negative news. But word on the street is Scotiabank is laying off employees. Multiple reports of staff being cut at 44 King and across ID departments level 6 through 9. So a couple people here talking. I've heard a few folks were let go today. Not sure if there is a round of layoffs happening. Anyone know anything here? The next slide. IT had layoffs across the board. Of course, there are layoffs happening. It's been going on for weeks now. I heard a bunch of people at 44 King were laid off today. This is true. Some people I know got the news. And then from Shazzy Goalie again, apparently TD Direct Investing just cut 120 staff this week. It's the second round of layoffs in just a few months. The safe finance jobs are not looking so safe anymore. So that's three major corporations, Starbucks, TD, and Scotiabank doing layoffs in Canada. All this news pretty much came out just yesterday. And then from Shazzy Goalie again, job vacancy rate just collapsed to an 8-year low. Vacancies fell to 2.6% in July, lowest since 2017. Employers posted fewer than 470,000 ads, down from nearly 1 million in 2022. Sharpest cuts in construction, finance, and healthcare. And if we take a look at this, you can see job vacancies plummeting, right? Less companies are hiring. There's less jobs that need to be filled, meaning less people are going to get a job. And then what could be the worst of the layoffs, which is yet to come, is in construction. This is Toronto new home sales for the last month. Look at how trash this is. Look at where new home sales have been in past, what is this, August? Yeah, August, right? In 2021 at 3,700, 2020 was 4,100, 4,200. You know, the average is probably around 2,500, 2,000, somewhere in that range. And they had 300 last month. So that means once everything, and I've said this many times, but once everything in the construction pipeline is completed and built, there isn't any new things in the pipeline that those workers can go to next. And the bulk of the pipeline will finish being built in 2026. So as we probably get into the back end of 2026 and a bunch of these projects finish in the first half of the year, you're probably going to see unemployment start to go up in the construction industry. In the last jobs report, we were still adding jobs to construction. I think we added 17,000 jobs. And I would expect at some point that number is going to go negative, right? So, unemployment is still going up despite the fact that we're adding jobs in construction. But at some point, that's going to have to go negative. And my guess is it's probably going to be the back end of 2026 when a lot of that pipeline a lot of the existing pipeline is complete. And because we've had low sales since 2022, look how brutal these sales are. Look how much less is going to be in the pipeline in comparison to prior years, right? So again, when a lot of that gets complete in the back end of 2026, there may not be another job for the workers to go to, meaning unemployment in the construction industry will start to go up. Now, quick real estate update. The market is busy right now. We just posted, not in Vancouver, but in Toronto, it was the highest sales we've seen since 2021. And the market has been getting gradually better since May, I want to say here. And I think we're pacing again in Vancouver. Our August wasn't great, but we're pacing for I think the best September in 4 years, just like how Toronto's had the best July and the best August. I think we're, maybe a couple months behind them. And I think we're pacing for the best September in 4 years. That's yet to be seen, but I believe that's the case. If not, I think it'll be very close. I'm having a lot more reach outs now, a lot more people interested about buying. I just was talking to my home inspector yesterday and he said he's crazy busy. He has 11 inspections scheduled over the next 3 days. He's been looking to hire somebody because he's so busy. He has to turn down work. He's turned down 4 inspections because he's so busy. He doesn't even have the time to do them. So it is getting busier. Obviously, because the prices are down, and spring might actually be pretty busy. Again, if we go into spring and the prices keep sliding into the end of the year, we go into spring with lower prices, and then maybe we get a substantial change in sales activity starting in the spring market next year. But that is yet to be seen. Funny story. So I had a client in Abbotsford who sold a condo and then bought a detached, right? And I talked about this client on this channel before, right? His net payments that he would have to make was it was something so small. I can't remember exactly what it was because he sold his condo and then he bought a detached home for $875,000 with a suite. And once you add the rental income in there and the strata fees that he was paying in the condo, it barely costs him anything more to live in a detached home, right? But what's funny is I sold him the house, 3 houses down from me. So he's my neighbor now. And then the buying agent who's on the buying side of his condo also lives in my neighborhood a block over. So today I'm going to go give him the keys for his house. I'm going to walk to the house, give him the keys, and then I'm going to grab the keys for his condo and I'm going to walk a block over and give them to the buying agent. And then I have subject removal on another deal today where that listing agent also lives in my neighborhood, but he's 3 or 4 blocks down. But pretty sick. I've never been able to do that before. So now it's my client is basically my neighbor. And then I get to walk the keys over to the buying agent. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, the job market, you're starting to see more and more layoffs. You're hearing about it almost every single day. And the construction industry, I can't remember where I heard this, but I heard one guy talking about it. He was the head of something or other. And he said there could be as much as 40 to 50% of the workforce getting laid off in construction. And that is, I believe, 8% of our GDP. So, yeah, things are getting bad. And in the last video, I was talking about how I believe it's possible for rates to go zero. Now, what I don't want is for people to think that that's my base case, that is 100% going to happen. The point that I'm making is that it wouldn't surprise me if, and by zero, I don't mean actually zero. I just mean around 1% would be, an interest rate that's well negative. You know what I mean? That's not my base case. That's not what I believe is, the most likely scenario. There's a lot of people saying that it's impossible, and I don't think it's impossible, and it wouldn't surprise me if it happened. But anyways, there's your update for today. If you enjoyed the video, please do like. I appreciate all of you who do like my videos and comment. Please subscribe if you want to chat with me about buying or selling in the Fraser Valley. Link down in the description. Otherwise, I'm that Agent Kelly. We'll see you next time. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.